maraming mga accountability and transparency issues, particularly dito sa budget, no? Sa paggamit ng budget, sa paggawa ng budget, sa pagkakaroon ng mga insertions, realignment sa budget. Bakit sila tahimik dito? If we're looking here at fairness, equality, equity, ito na nga siguro lahat tignan, no, ng ating gobyerno, hindi lamang yung mga kalaban nila sa politika.
Ano po ang nakita nyo dito sa palitan ng diskurso, debate kahapon? Expected nyo na po ba ito, Prof? At ano-anong mga puntos yung nakita nyo po? Kung meron man both, no, doon sa pumanig at doon sa hindi pumabor.
Well, basically, expect natin that na magkakaroon talaga sila ng kanya-kanyang kuro-kuro regarding or before the voting. Pero what I expected as well, yun nga, mas mananaig talaga yung pagboto, no, na tignan yung lohika at saka yung rason ng pagkakabasura, no, sa impeachment complaint na ito ng Korte Suprema. And yes, may mga binigay na pagpapahayag din naman ang mga hindi sumang-ayon dito, particularly sila Senator Tito Soto, Senator Rizon Tiveros. That's expected. But then again, at the end of the day, when the voting came in, I think mas nanaig talaga yung masasabi nating mga pumapabor, hindi doon sa hindi pagpataw or pagpapatuloy ng impeachment, kundi lilinawin lang natin yung constitutional at procedural aspect ang tinitingnan dito, no? Hindi yung merito at yung demerito ng kaso, kasi wala pa naman tayo doon sa punto na yon. So I think maganda yung mga binigay na pahayag, lalong-lalo na ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, gayon din naman si Senate President Jesus Escudero, and of course former Congressman Rodante Marcoleta really stood his ground well. I think it's a breath of fresh air, no, in the Senate, that we have somebody as brilliant and as outspoken as Senator Dante Marcoleta. And I think maganda yung mga magiging pagtalakay, no, from here on moving forward sa Senado, having him around.
Opo, pero nakita nyo rin po ba na both same lang yung punto nila, well, yung una kasi is i-dismiss, no? Tapos yung isa i-table, parang ipahinga lang. Pero kalaunan archive, parang pahinga lang din kasi pwede pa rin nilang buhayin. Kumbaga parang hindi na dapat ito tumaas pa kasi parang same lang ata yung kanilang punto rin na as of now, dahil yun ang desisyon ng korte na immediate na execute ito, pero merong motion for reconsideration, pwede pa rin buhayin.
Yes. That is right, no? Pero kasi kapag nagkaroon na sila ng desisyon rito, no, particularly the Senate, I think magiging next move nito, no, we'll have to wait if the Congress will initiate another impeachment complaint, no, since it's already been archived. And I think because they already voted in favor of the decision of the Supreme Court, I think naging malinaw na rito, no, yung konteksto nung tinura ng ating Korte Suprema that the case was never transmitted to them, no, kasi it was already considered void ab initio, no. So technically from the very beginning, no, yung binabanggit ng ating Korte Suprema. And I think because of this, medyo may hirapan, no, may hirapan na talaga na buhayin pa ito, unless of course magkakaroon na naman ng panibagong pagsampa ng impeachment complaint sa mababang kapulungan.
Opo. Pag-usapan lang po natin itong mga, kasi nababanggit na meron naman daw history na bumaliktad ang desisyon ng Korte Suprema, pero dinibate din yon kung same din ba na pangyayari or senaryo. Kaugnay ba sa constitutionality? Unbank ba siya? Ibig sabihin buong lahat ng mga mahistrado ba yung lumahok sa ano? Pero ano sa tingin po ninyo ang epekto pag ang isang maestrado, meron na siyang desisyon tapos biglang bumaliktad, maganda po ba ito sa imahe nila at kumbaga sa kabuuan po, no? Lalo na sa justice system po natin?
Well, definitely hindi, no? Hindi ko nakikita to na maganda, no, per se, because basically the reason that you were given that position initially, because the presumption is that you are an expert when it comes to law, not just an expert, no, but you're really, you've been practicing it for a very long time, and that technically you are considered to be one of the most knowledgeable pagdating diyan. So, kung nagbigay na sila ng kanilang pahayag, the presumption is that napag-aralan nila itong maigi. And then kasi yung titignan natin dito yung numero, no, the unanimity, no, very very unanimous, no, kasi kung meron na sanang isang nagkontra o meron nag-abstain, baka sakali, no, there might be some room for doubt, no, but when you have a unanimous decision such as this, parang mahirap i-overturn, unless that particular judge will be able to give a very good reason, no, why the sudden change in position. And of course, it may also reflect on him, no, technically. Pwede itong pwedeng the public may take it against him, no? Parang it may be a dent on his credibility, no, on his integrity as a judge, no? So I really don't think it will be a good precedent, no, if in case they will be changing their respective positions. So I don't see that there will be anything of that will happen, definitely.
And doon naman sa pauna ni Congressman Rodante Marcoleta na inisa-isa niya yung mga nakikita niyang kamalian na ginawa po ng Kamara dito. Ano po ang masasabi niyo po, Prof?
Well, basically, sa akin, pinapakita rito ni Congressman Dante Marcoleta yung kanyang brilliance, as a legal luminary. Sabi nga kanina, it's a good thing that we have him in the Senate, and he really made the motion to dismiss the impeachment complaint based on the Supreme Court unanimous en banc decision. And then yun binanggit niya rito, no, that it was void ab initio, meaning invalid from the start. It was in violation of the constitutional one-year bar rule. Procedurally, it was defective because it was not included in the House order of business. It was also outside the Senate's jurisdiction since the complaint itself was unconstitutional. No? So the position that he took was very clear, and that the Supreme Court ruling is immediately executory. No? So yung namang yung motion naman ni Senator Tito Soto, the motion to table is primarily a request to postpone or to set aside a matter, either temporarily or permanently, no? And this motion was supported by Rizon Tiveros, Bam Aquino, and Kiko Pangilinan. Ang argument naman nila is that the House of Representatives had filed a motion for reconsideration, or MR, before the Supreme Court. That's the first contention. The second contention is that the Supreme Court ruling is not yet final and executory because pending the outcome of the motion for reconsideration. The Senate has the sole constitutional authority to try impeachment cases. The Senate should wait for a possible TRO from the Supreme Court. And miracle nga, no, or milagro, as Senator Rizon Tiveros calls it. So primarily ito yung ito yung bone of contention ng magkabilang panig, until Senator Alan Peter Cayetano nga intervened to defend the authority of the Supreme Court, and he emphasized that the Senate must indeed respect the Supreme Court rulings, as a co-equal body, no. Kasi ang hindi dito nakikita ng marami, is the fact na itong ating Korte Suprema may kakayahan siya, no? It's not just a co-equal branch, no? They have the power to check and balance one another, you know? They are allowed a considerable degree of encroachment on the power of the other branch. And in this case nga, ang ginamit nilang kapangyarihan is the power of judicial review, which is a constitutional power given solely to the Supreme Court. And that's why they ruled against the constitutionality of the impeachment process. Again, it's only the procedural aspect that we are contesting here. Wala tayo doon sa substantial merit ng kaso. So, I think at any given point in time, since kapag in-archive na natin ang isang complaint, it means to formally set it aside. Typically, dahil nga unang-una, it lacks legal or factual merit, may procedural defects, it failed to meet the constitutional or legislative requirement, it was not acted in a timely manner, or for political or strategic reasons. No? So ito naman yung consideration for archiving a particular motion or a particular issue.
Opo, dito naman po sa mga sinasabi nila na sa mga pangyayari ngayon, mahirap na raw mag-impeach. Tingin nyo po, mahirap po ba mag-impeach? Hindi po ba malinaw ang patakaran? Or mas nalinawan na ngayon dahil sa naging desisyon ng korte, and at the same time, itong pagpapaliwanag din ni Marcoleta kung ano-ano yung mga paglabag na nagawa, Prof?
Yeah, actually the good thing about publicly having these sessions, no, particularly itong nangyari kahapon, as with the other sessions, I believe, is nagkakaroon tayo talaga ng kakayahan, especially the ordinary citizens, yung mga ordinary natin mga kababayan na kumbaga parang maintindihan yung proseso, no, malaman ng mas malalim yung konteksto ng mga issues, and then from there they may be able to come up with their own basis for the formation of their own opinions, no, respectively. And so I believe, no, na maganda at naayon naman yung mga naging palipaliwanag kahapon, particularly by Senator Marcoleta, who really did a splendid job, by the way, declaring, and kumbaga parang educating not only the people in the Congress, but more importantly us, ordinary Filipinos, regarding what we should know and what we should have beforehand bago tayo tumuloy sa ganitong mga proseso. No? So, hindi ko nakikita na magiging mahirap ang proseso ng impeachment kung in the first place, ginawa siya ng tama at maayos. Kung dumaan siya sa legal at tamang proseso, din wala tayong problema. Pero kasi yung ginawa ng Kongreso, particularly noong February 5, is a manifestation of their parang demonstration of power. No? Parang power play ang ginawa nila na hindi nga nabasa ng maraming mga mambabatas basta pinapirma lang sila. So that alone in itself is already a constitutional violation because the rules suggests, and prescribes na kailangan talagang maunawaan, maintindihan, madigest ng bawat mambabatas ang kanilang pipirmahan bago sila pumirma. And so if we did not go through this right process, di ba, parang ang hirap naman na magkakaroon tayo ng trial nang hindi tayo tumaan sa tamang proseso. No, the procedural and substantial context of the trial should both be satisfactory. Kasi kung hindi, talagang may magiging problema tayo rito. No? So, yun lamang, hindi ko nakikita na magiging mahirap ang pag-file ng impeachment in the future kung gagawin ng tama, kaklaruhin yung proseso, and hindi magkakaroon ng hindi magkakaroon ng masyadong reliance dun sa kanilang kapangyarihan na kaya nilang brasuhin yung constitution or iset aside yung mandato ng batas.
Nakikita niyo po bang minadali ng Senado itong kanilang naging desisyon batay sa mga obserbasyon ng mga kritiko?
Well, hindi ko kasi naisip na minadali, no? In the first place, this particular decision was transmitted to them immediately. The 97-page decision was already transmitted to them immediately by the Supreme Court, and they have a copy of it, I believe, no? And ito naman, nagsisimula pa lang din naman yung ating sessions sa Senado, no? And kumbaga wala pa yung masyadong may hirap ng mga deliberations, no? I believe that they were given ample time naman to actually read this. Hindi kagaya nung panahon na pinapirma na lang sila, no, on that exact same day na talagang totally, no, wala silang panahon para basahin yung totality ng articles of impeachment. Dito naman, I think there is ample time before they need a decision. So I'm not seeing that, no, as a problem, no. Pero syempre, ito ay pupuntusan ng mga hindi sumasangayon dito sa impeachment process na to, na tinitignan nila to, no, parang isang kakulangan on the part of the senators. But ako naman, I believe, no, that itong collective decision naman na to ng Senado nakasalalay din naman doon sa naging decision na ng mga pantas ng mga maestrado na talagang masasabi natin hindi lang may alam, no, kundi eksperto at malalim ang pagkilala, pag-unawa sa ating saligang batas at sa legalidad.
Yung boundary po, no, nung mga nakasaad sa konstitusyon, kapangyarihan ng Kongreso, kasi ito rin yung binibigyang diin po sa side po ng House of Representatives na nasa kanila ang exclusive power. Tapos ito yung Supreme Court na nagtatranslate kung anong sinasabi ng konstitusyon. Malinaw po ba kung ano yung mga boundary? Hindi po ba nagsasapawan? Hindi po ba nalabag na co-equal sila, Prof?
Yung ang pinapaliwanag ko kanina is that may kapangyarihan, may tinatawag tayong judicial review, no, na ito ay kapangyarihan naman talaga ng Supreme Court na tignan, no, yung legalidad at yung constitutionality ng isang issue o ng isang motion o ng isang pagsasampa ng kaso. And basically, no, I think this is this is a manifestation naman ng kapangyarihan nila, no. Kasi kung hindi naman nila to gagawin, no, and then this trial will proceed, and I'm very sure that the defense of the VP will immediately pounce on the issue of technicality. Nakuha niya pa ibig sabihin, they will immediately pounce on the issue of technicality, particularly citing the 1-year bar rule. And kung ito ay alam ng Korte Suprema and then they remain silent about it, diba? Nasa kanila naman din yung magiging sisi later on, ano? Kung ipagpapatuloy natin itong pagdinig na to na meron palang constitutional defect. So, sino ba talaga ang dapat makakita, makaalam, mag-aral kung meron ba talagang paglabag sa Constitution maliban sa Korte Suprema? Yes, I believe that the power to impeach is really with the Congress, no? Pero hindi natin tinitignan dito, no, yung kapangyarihan nila to impeach. But the power to impeach must be executed within the bounds of law and constitutionality. So if and when this legal and procedural aspects will be satisfied, then they can impeach. The Supreme Court will not have any say on that. You impeach. Because that's your power. But then again, ang pinupuntasan lang naman dito ng Korte Suprema is may mali, may kailangang itama. At it's their constitutional duty by virtue of the power of judicial review to see and to really scrutinize kung may mali ba talaga. No, kasi kung ito ipapayagan lang nila na hindi sila aalma, later on sa kanila rin sasabog yan, ano, at para bang hindi nila ginawa yung kanilang constitutional mandate, no. So I hope that the House of Representatives will take it to their heart that in the future, you know, if ever they will be impeaching, maybe not the Vice President or kung sino man ang impeachable officer na karampan nila, I hope that this will be a lesson, no, na wag iset aside yung itinatalaga ng ating saligang batas, yung provision ng ating Constitution, particularly on the procedural aspect of filing the impeachment. Kasi ito lang naman yung sinasaklawan dito ng Korte Suprema, hindi naman talaga yung kaso ni, no.
Kumbaga, Prof, kasi lagi nilang sinasabi yung accountability, pero kung gusto niyo ng accountability, sundin yung tamang proseso. Kasi kahit sa korte, di
Right.
po ba, kung ang ebidensya ay nakuha sa maling pamamaraan, hindi pa rin ito pwedeng gamitin. Dito ako sa sinabi ni Senador Alan Peter Cayetano. Sabi niya, kung ayaw nyo na maging presidente si Vice President Sara, talunin nyo na lang siya sa 2028. Tama naman ang sinabi ng Supreme Court. Dapat may proseso ng impeachment pero hindi ito dapat gamiting pampolitika laban sa mga kalaban. Ngayon, kung may tunay na kasalanan si VP Sara, pwedeng maghain ng impeachment pero sa tamang paraan at tamang proseso. Prof.
Tama po yun, ano? Yun nga, parang yung nangyari kasi dito is parang we're trying to weaponize a legal procedure and a legal ground, for removing an impeachable officer because of political reasons. Okay, nakakalungkot isipin that the impeachment itself is already a political exercise. Pero I think ngayon lang nangyari, na ang talagang kadahilanan bakit nila fina-file ng impeachment si VP Sara is also for purely political reasons, Kasi kung transparency and accountability lang, may mga ibang paraan para po malaman yun. And I think the Commission on Audit has already spoken about this. Time and again, they already mentioned about this issue, and that wala namang sinasabi na tahasang paglabag ang ating ikalawang Pangulo. So, if not for purely political reasons, and if this is the only way by which they are seeing na madidislodge nila si VP sa pagtakbo sa 2028, then I'm not seeing any other considerations, Kaya nga, kung titingnan natin, kung mayroon naman talaga na paglabag, wala namang problema kasi ituloy natin yung impeachment. Okay, walang problema. Pero ilagay natin sa tamang konteksto. Kasi tama binabanggit ko kanina, meron tayong tinatawag na fruit of a poisonous tree na doktrina sa batas na hindi po pwedeng magamit sa isang pagdinig yung mga ebidensya or kaso halimbawa na hindi dumaan sa tamang proseso. In the same manner, na hindi rin natin po pwede sigurong gawin pagpatuloy itong trial kasi nga hindi siya tumaan doon sa tamang due process. So, it's very ironic that the House of Representatives is the one supposedly making the law. Pero they're also the ones violating the very law that they're supposed to be upholding. So yun yung medyo irony doon, Pero syempre ginagawa naman nila to, alam naman natin because of some political reasons. But of course, tayo naman bilang mga ordinaryong mamamayan, we also wanted this sana to proceed so that the president will be, the vice president rather, will have a proper venue, a good avenue by which she could counter these allegations, Kasi doon sa mga pagdinig naman ng Quadcom, makikita natin hindi naman siya halos nakapagsalita, Kasi monopolize nila yung mga pagdinig nila. So I think this will be a proper venue sana for her to really air her side and prove her worth, particularly in this case. And sana mas maganda nga talaga magkaroon na ng finality kasi kung tinitignan nila, ng mga kalaban ng ating ikalawang Pangulo na ito ay victory para kay Vice President Sara Duterte, I don't think so. This is more of a parang agony being prolonged. You get the idea, Sir Edmar? Parang pinagtatagal mo lang habang tumatagal yan, hindi mo alam kung magfa-file pa ba sila ng impeachment, magpapatuloy pa ba ito, Parang there's this anxiety lingering, there's this parang worry, na at the back of your head, gusto mo sana matapos na pero hindi pa matapos-tapos. So nandyan pa rin, Yun yung mahirap, So kung akala nila na ito ay victory para sa ating ikalawang Pangulo, I don't think it that way, Mas maganda nga sana nagkaroon na ng finality para nagkalabasan na and everything and magkaroon ng decision, diba? So that this will finally put an end to these things, Pero yun nga, ang tinitingnan talaga natin dito is yung proseso na dapat talaga masunod.
Nakikita nyo rin po ba, Prof, na masyado nang naging abalang Kongreso dito sa usapin ng impeachment or matimbang pa rin sa kanilang mga role or kanilang mga papel po sa ating bansa?
Yeah, actually, sobrang kung titingnan natin, time and again, I've said this in many interviews, hindi lang dito sa SMNA, pero binabanggit ko talaga na hindi ko alam bakit kailangan natin na sobrang bigyan ng masyadong malaking pagtingin, bigat itong impeachment ng isang vice president, maniniwala pa siguro Supreme Court Chief Justice o Presidente, kasi sila talaga may malaking ginagawa. But you're a vice president and you're just technically a spare tire, So if this is not really for 2028, I don't see any reason why they are pursuing this too much, except for yes, tama yun, accountability, transparency, pero like I said, may ibang paraan naman tayo para makita yun, other than, wasting a lot of resources, time, effort, money para dito sa usapin ng impeachment. I think masyado na siyang dragging, masyado nang matagal, masyado nang marami tayong mga panahon na ginugol dito, when in fact, we could have devoted those time, in deliberating, bills that really could somewhat change or improve the lives, the socio-economic conditions of the people, Kasi masyado na tayong lunod dito sa political noise nung nasa-set aside natin yung talagang dahilan bakit tayo nandito in the first place, which is to legislate, to make laws, to improve the lives of the public. Yun naman yung kailangan natin sigurong tignan naman ngayon this time around para mas maging maayos yung ating bayan.
Speaking of accountability, naging consistent po ba sila sa paghahanap ng accountability sa hindi lang sa isang issue, pati sa marami, hindi lang dito para kasing ang dating kasi dito lang nakatuon. Tingin niyo po ba consistent sila sa kanilang paghahanap ng accountability sa iba't ibang mga issue like kagaya doon sa flood control projects, iba pa mga problemang kinakaharap ng bayan na mas malaki yung pondo na inilalaan, Prof?
Yeah. My position in this issue is this, kung matuloy itong impeachment trial na to, it will really open a Pandora's box, because the defense definitely will not allow, na yun lamang mga pag-scrutinize sa VP yung mailalatag sa publiko. I'm sure the defense is already preparing countermeasures, to say and to prove that there is really parang a disparity when it comes to the provision or dispensation here of justice. Dahil sa totoo lang, marami rin talaga, tama kayo, maraming mga accountability and transparency issues, particularly dito sa budget, sa paggamit ng budget, sa paggawa ng budget, sa pagkakaroon ng mga insertions, realignment sa budget, particularly dito sa halimbawa sa earmark revenue, na inilalagay o nire-realign sa iba't ibang mga mga agencies, when in fact this earmark revenues talagang nakatuon yan dapat sa isang particular na na ahensya o isang particular na programa. Hindi yan po pwedeng mailatag o maipalit, o mailagay sa iba other than that which it was provided for, pero makita natin sa budget ang daming mali, ang daming problema. So these issues also deserve the same layer of scrutiny, pero bakit sila tahimik dito? Yun yung medyo hindi natin maintindihan. Sana maunawaan ng ating mga kababayan na iba talaga yung tinitignan sa tinititigan, diba? So, if we're looking here at fairness, equality, equity, ito na nga siguro lahat tignan, ng ating gobyerno, hindi lamang yung mga kalaban nila sa politika.
Prof, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras at panahon. Sa ulitin po, ingat po kayo.